Do you know how many people do this in secret? They don't tell their wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, circle friends, and so on. So many people are ashamed, they're embarrassed, they don't want to be judged. Let's get rid of the stigma. Let's normalize it. Coach Greg, and today's video is Brandon Carter's no longer natural. Well, we already knew he wasn't natural, but now he's actually not a fake natty, as in he's making a video saying he's no longer natural. It's not clickbait. He's actually on HRT now. Gonna watch the video and comment. Hopefully you learn something. The guy's about 40 years old, no longer natural, not surprising. Can't wait to watch the video.
All right, so I am thinking about getting on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. I haven't had much energy. It started halfway through 2019 where I just felt myself getting more tired. I would have to take naps during the day.
Well, that's half the world right now. It's the time of the cold. A lot of people are feeling more tired. Also, it's winter time. A lot of people are feeling more tired. Just because you're feeling more tired, it doesn't mean it's time to go on HRT. This is a huge decision, and it's not like he hasn't been thinking about it for a long time. Trust me, he has. He's written me in the DMs. It's been a long time coming. That's what she said. So he just recently had his testosterone levels checked, and they came back low. Previously, they were actually high, but listen, if he took SARMs or testosterone or various performance-enhancing drugs, it can suppress your own body's natural production of testosterone. So if he was in fact a fake natty, it would be very common for him to have a low testosterone level now. If he had high testosterone levels in the past and he has low testosterone levels now, what you would expect is he would not look as good. He wouldn't actually be lean, ripped, and have a lot of muscle. When you have declining levels of testosterone, your body gets smaller. For example, when I'm on steroids and have higher levels of testosterone, I'm a lot bigger. And when I'm on just HRT, or if I'm on nothing at all, the muscles, they get a lot smaller. But Brandon Carter, he doesn't really look worse. So the fact that his testosterone levels are lower now leads me to believe that he was probably taking something suppressive in the past. But listen, that's the past. Who cares about the past? This is the future. Well, HRT traveled through time and showed me what the future was. I already knew he was going to make this video, so I was excited to see when it finally came out.
So I'm gonna have two conversations with some people to do some research, man, because I'm not an expert on this, right? I've never done PEDs, contrary to popular belief. I don't really know much about it, so I'm gonna go talk to my boy Ben Bukowski, who's an expert on the subject. You know, he competed in Mr. Olympia. He's won tons of bodybuilding competitions. And
he's talking to fellow Canadian Ben Kapolsky, one of the best IFBB pros of all time from Canada. He knows a thing or two about testosterone, so let's see what we can learn from Ben.
Just to be clear, Ben Bukowski, you're telling me that I will feel like a superhero for at least one more year if I start taking testosterone today.
You can feel like a superhero for the rest of your life if you learn to check all those boxes, the things that your body's lacking.
Okay.
Not really. HRT is literally testosterone replacement therapy. It's replacing the testosterone that you're supposed to have. So Brandon Carter shouldn't feel like a superhero. He should feel like himself. But isn't that enough? To feel like a superhero, that's when you take supraphysiological doses. You know, like shit ton of testosterone, like mega doses, high doses, 10 times the normal doses. Then you'd feel like a superhero. But trust me, I've taken those doses and I did feel like a superhero. But then when you have to come off, so many people get depressed and feel like garbage and lose all their muscle when they come off the cycle. But on HRT, you're just giving the body what it normally has or what it normally produces. As you know, I've been taking 140 milligrams of testosterone a week. HRT. I recently came off HRT and had my blood work done, and the testosterone levels are low. And I know you don't believe me. You think I'm on test and tren and cycling the whole thing, and I have all this muscle because, well, I'm just lying and I'm on mega doses. But guess what? My testosterone levels are low, but I did it for a reason. I'll explain why I went off HRT in a future video.
So if I take this, I take it forever.
Yes. Well, no, because you could stop depending how long you took it. Again, I took 18 months off completely, but my testosterone was 27.
But you didn't feel bad.
No, I feel great.
Really?
And technically speaking, you can go on HRT for as long as you want. You can go on, you can go off, but listen, if you decide to go off HRT, you're gonna feel like garbage for a while. It's gonna take a while for your body to produce testosterone again, to become normal. And maybe it doesn't ever produce testosterone again. Maybe you've done just too much damage. Your body can't recover from it. And you really do need HRT to feel normal. But listen, if you get used to HRT and used to feeling amazing, why wouldn't you want to continue to feel amazing? HRT is amazing for a lot of people and it's a lifesaver, but there are some negative side effects. For example, my tricep tap, I'm gonna get into that in another video. There are some negative side effects associated with going on HRT. For example, your hematocrit could go up. You might have lower HDL, that's the good cholesterol. So think of it, there are some bad things that can happen. So just because HRT can give you more energy or increase your sex drive, it doesn't mean it's the right answer for you. So Ben said he went off of HRT for 18 months straight and he felt okay despite his testosterone being 27. But we don't know if that's on the Canadian scale. In fact, 27 on the Canadian scale is very high normal. If it's on the United States or nanograms per deciliter scale, well, that's rock bottom. I'm currently at 87, so if he's at 27, I'd be surprised he felt good at all, but that would indicate completely crushed testosterone levels. Similar to, I don't know, Zaya Miranda, who is 21.
So I know some negative effects I may have, higher estrogen, higher investment of my hormones with it. Will I get too aggressive? Can you get too aggressive? Will my libido be out of control?
Well, possibly. So the way I explain to clients is like, it just expresses what you already are a little bit more. So if you tend to be an asshole, you're gonna be a bigger asshole. If you tend to be very sexually aggressive, you're gonna be, you know what I mean, or sexually assertive, you're gonna be more. That is just going to express what you already are.
And it is in fact a cop-out. You can't blame your HRT or testosterone for making you an asshole or treating people different or being cocky. It's just going to amplify what you already are, but you're in charge of your own behavior. You decide what you're going to do.
I will gain more muscle.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it may only be 5 to 7 pounds. Yeah. Like you could gain 30. If you push really hard, you could gain 30 pounds. But depending on how hard you want to push.
And no, Ben, you're not going to put on 30 pounds of muscle on HRT, no matter how hard you push yourself. You want to put on 30 pounds, you got to be blasting everything, including the kitchen sink, 30 pounds. That's a lot. Some people won't put 30 pounds on, no matter what they take, test and train for years. Okay, 30 pounds, not gonna happen. 5 to 7, a lot more accurate is what you could expect from HRT. So he says it takes about a week to feel it, and I 100% agree. In fact, I expect you would feel it even sooner than that, within a couple days. 3 days, you should be feeling some of the positive benefits of being on HRT.
Someone who's natural, they go on a diet, right? Their testosterone levels naturally decrease, right?
Maybe.
But if I'm on TRT, staying consistent, it stays the same.
So you lose less muscle.
Benefits, I lose less muscle.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, if you go on HRT and go on a diet, you very well could gain muscle while losing fat at the same time. You mean gain. Building muscle in a deficit, it's even more possible and more likely to happen while on HRT. I would suspect most people who were to add HRT and diet at the same time would probably build muscle while in a deficit. And he brings up a good point. A lot of people are going to say, well, I don't want to do anything because I'll have to do that for the rest of my life. Well, a lot of things we have to do for the rest of your life. If you have kids, you have to be a parent for the rest of your life. We have to eat for the rest of our life, breathe the rest of our life, exercise for the rest of our life. So just because you have to do something for the rest of your life doesn't mean it's not a good thing to do.
Tomorrow, I got one important person to meet. I'm going to meet my boy Jimmy, who runs the testosterone clinic. Again, he didn't pay me to endorse it, but he's been my boy for a long time and I always said I would go with him.
So I think of testosterone, total testosterone is like fuel in your tank.
Okay.
And your SHBG helps us do an equation to figure out how much of that fuel you can use. So that's your bioavailable testosterone. That's the number that we have to really pay attention to.
Okay, what about free testosterone? What does that mean?
So free is important, but it's more of an indicator. It tells us like, oh, you're not using it very well, but still I like to know the bioavailable because then I have an exact number that I can shoot for.
And he's actually correct. Most people, they just say, wait, what's your free testosterone? And they go by that and they say, oh, it's 800 nanograms per deciliter. But what really matters is how much of that testosterone are you actually using? So just think of it. What's the point of having a shit ton of testosterone if your body's only able to use a very small portion of that? So the bioavailable testosterone, the testosterone that your body is actually using, that is actually a more important number than the free testosterone, total testosterone of the human body.
I hear some people saying like, oh, we're just gonna bring you back to normal levels you are, and you alluded to that earlier.
Yep.
But isn't it better than normal? Isn't it better than normal? Because, you know, a normal guy's testosterone will fluctuate depending on different stress, different things going on, you know, dietary changes, lack of sleep. A normal guy's, even if he had high testosterone, it will fluctuate. When you're on TRT, it's going to stay wherever you put it, right? So isn't that a little better than normal?
Yeah.
My testosterone shot that I do once a week, it's still going to fluctuate. Okay, same as a normal person that fluctuates every day. And if I'm fluctuating somewhere between 650 and 750, that isn't as high as somebody who's natural and fluctuating from 800 to 900. So just because I'm on HRT doesn't actually mean I have more testosterone and can grow more than someone who's natural. It's HRT or TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. If you're taking super physiological doses of testosterone, like say 200 milligrams a week, then of course you're gonna build more muscle than somebody who's natural. But if you're on HRT and your dose is say 60 milligrams, and you're at 400 nanograms per deciliter, that doesn't mean you're building more muscle than someone who's natural. So the results you get are clearly dose dependent. So he's acting like we don't fluctuate. Just because you inject testosterone, even if it's twice a week, doesn't mean it's not fluctuating. It's still gonna fluctuate. If you do a long-estered testosterone and you shoot a little tiny bit twice a day, then yeah, it's gonna be a lot more stable. But if you're doing 1 or 2 shots a week, you are in fact fluctuating the same way that, for example, a normal natural person is going to also fluctuate.
When I'm considering doing, is there a difference? What's the main difference between that and what bodybuilders do? Is it just dose, or is it different
Dose
compounds?
is a big aspect of it because they're usually taking 2 to 3 times like super physiological levels where it's like Superman levels where, okay, you feel great, you get some good progress, but the reality is you continue to do that, you're setting yourself up for like a stroke.
And I like the fact that he says, no, HRT isn't gonna make you feel like Superman. That's people that are abusing PDs, but that can cause very negative consequences, like a stroke, for example, he says. You know, stroke's pretty bad, you don't want to get a stroke. I also like this advice, wait as long as you can before starting HRT. The longer you can hold off, the better. Wait until you actually do truly need it. And of course, it goes without saying, do so with the advice and monitoring from a doctor. Don't do this on your own. Never break the law. Only do this if it's legal in your country.
I mean, we get guys in who are like doing 500 milligrams a week, and I'm like, oh my God, if you did our stuff at 500 milligrams, you would die. The goal is to maximize your results with the least amount of medication.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it, man. And
he gives the same advice that I give. I always tell people, take the lowest dose that makes you happy, okay? Maximum benefit from the least amount of stuff. Higher the dose, the higher the risk factor. So the lower amount you can take, the better and safer you're going to be.
All right, so after talking to Jimmy, I actually feel pretty good about it. I still have a few reservations, a few things I need to think about. One, I'm still focused on, like, you know, having to do it for the rest of my life. From what I understand, you don't get off this shit. So there's that.
Now listen to this. If you truly actually need HRT, the thought of doing 1 or 2 shots a week that takes a couple minutes is in no way going to be a deterrent from not doing it. If you actually need HRT, it means you feel like garbage. You feel like shit. The thought of living the rest of your life feeling like shit, it's a good deterrent to not want to skip out on HRT.
But there was one listed benefit that I think is a con, and that's increased libido and sex drive. You know, having a high sex drive has historically not worked out well for me in my life.
So Brandon, let's think of it like this. You're already hornier than most people. You already look like the Black Panther.
I want to be a light-skinned Black Panther.
I think you're already there.
And you're debating if 1 shot a week is worth it. Probably means you don't feel that bad. It probably means you don't actually need HRT. But hey, if you want to go HRT just to maximize everything, I'm all for it. But I'm saying, based on your symptoms, the only one that I see was being tired. Probably don't need HRT.
I've decided to jump on TRT.
That's right. Brandon Carter is no longer natty. You know, I've been natural this whole time. I know opinions vary on that issue.
And no, I don't actually think that Brandon Carter was a lifetime natty like Jeff Cavalier or Mike O'Hearn. I don't believe he was also natural like these two. But that's just my opinion. There's no hate. I don't really care. I'm just saying what I think.
Maybe I can play a role in helping to take away the stigma of guys who are on TRT or who feel like they need some extra testosterone, you know, especially if you get it from a doctor. If it's something like this is a medical procedure, there's guys who are ashamed to go on this because people are going to talk shit about them or say, oh, he's natural, he's cheating, or it's just looked down upon, you know?
What I'm really glad is that he's making this video, and like me, he wants to get rid of the stigma that HRT is somehow bad and should be frowned upon. Just think, so many women are on birth control, and I don't see people making videos saying, oh my goodness, birth control pills. I don't think it's fair. The guys, we should be able to take something that makes us feel better if we want to, and it's legal, and it's supervised by a doctor.
When I was talking to my boy Jimmy, who owns the TRT clinic, he was saying that some of his clients don't even have the TRT shipped to their home. They prefer to have it shipped to their office so their wife doesn't know.
You know how many people do this in secret? They don't tell their wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, circle friends, and so on. So many people are ashamed, they're embarrassed, they don't want to be judged. Let's get rid of the stigma. Let's normalize it. I don't want you to take HRT if you don't need to, but those of you who do need it and do take it, you shouldn't have to hide.
I want to be an example, a good example for other older guys, or maybe even younger guys. Who knows, man? There's no age requirement where your testosterone drops, you know? If you have low testosterone, you get it checked and the doctor says you'd be a good candidate for TRT. If you want to do it, you shouldn't be ashamed.
I think what we want, Brandon, in your next video is to actually show your blood work. Let's see what your actual testosterone levels are. We're free testosterone, bioavailable testosterone, SHBG, let's see it all. I'll show you mine in a future video so that you can all comment and say, you're a fake natty for life. There's no way. You keep bragging you have good genetics. It's not. It's because you've been on trend since the age of 10. Love the haters, love the mosquitoes. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette, IB Pro. Blooping up 2 videos. Be sure to watch Derek from Place for Days video on the same subject. I've already traveled through time. See his video. It's a good video in the future. So watch his video and comment. Let's see us all. And yeah, buy my freaking cookbook. Until next time, follow me on TikTok, Instagram. Buy my freaking cookbook. And until next time, I'm out.